All right, Bulls and Bears, thank you so much for being here. Back in action here on the BX4. Bull to the bust. It is still April 9th, 2024. I wanted to put this video out because there's some very interesting things happening right now. We're going to talk about the prices of some assets here that I think is very telling on what might be ahead of us here coming up in the not too distant future. I'm talking months. So first of all, let's get into this right here. There's new protections coming out for homeowners, foreclosure prevention programs, right? Very interesting timing. Actually, we're going to talk about that one here in just a few minutes. We've got the consumer price index coming out tomorrow, which is Wednesday, April 10th. And the consensus is going to be about 3.4%. And if it's under that, then that'll be market positive. If it's 3.2 or something like that, which is still not good news, but the markets will probably eat it up and put it in or congest it as good news when really it's not. Anything positive, even a 0.1% CPI is not good because that means prices are still going up compared to the previous year. And what we need is actually deflation, right? But the powers that be, the quote unquote leaders, are terrified of deflation. They don't want falling prices because falling prices means that credit is contracting. That usually goes hand in hand with deflation, right? We saw it in 2008, 9, and 10. As credit contracted, meaning it was very difficult to borrow money, prices came down. The housing bubble went bust. Debt actually came down. Cost of cars came down, right? Cost of living in general came down. People had less money to spend. In the current environment, with banks still happy to loan out money even to consumers that have record levels of debt and late payments, still loaning out money, it's very unlikely we're going to see a big drop in inflation. In fact, we're going to continue to see this 3.4 number. I think is going to be close to what we're going to see tomorrow. So we'll report it tomorrow. We'll be on top of it for you as usual. But what do you think the number is going to come in as? And do you agree with me that we actually need deflation? Right. The thing about deflation is it usually only happens in the time of an economic turmoil, a big economic downturn, massive job losses, things like that. And that's because as credit goes, so goes the economy. When the economy is driven by consumer spending, which is derived from borrowing money, then of course those two go hand in hand. Economic downturn and credit contraction, falling prices, falling cost of living, bubbles deflate, which is actually the cure. But nobody wants to take the tough medicine. The medicine doesn't taste good. It's nasty tasting. A lot of job losses when that happens. But once you take the medicine, then you can start regaining a healthy economy. What we're doing now is just inflating an already overinflated economy. I think most of you know this, but it's just amazing when you look around out there at a lot of the news, talking heads, even the business quote unquote experts. They just don't seem to know this. Actually, I'm correct. I correct myself on it. I think they do know it. They're just not allowed to talk about it because they know that deflation is going to really be unpopular amongst most of the people. So maybe it's not even their fault. The talking heads, they know they can't tell the truth because so many people have been, I think, brainwashed into believing the economy's good based on consumption and spending and borrowing. So many people have been brainwashed. I'm talking about the general population, not my audience here. I doubt any of you are clueless to these facts, but I think most of the population has no clue. So then, as soon as we see deflation, as soon as we see banks pull back on the lending, what's the natural thing to do? They just blame who's ever in a position of leadership, and of course, the ones running this, they don't want to be blamed. So here we go with this endless, what seems like endless money creation, throwing money at the problem. $1 trillion, yeah, $1 trillion every 100 days now, being added to the national debt. What is that? That's borrowed money. That's money conjured out of nothing, put into the economy to quote help the situation, but it's actually making it worse. We've got the markets here still holding up strong. I mean, there were some markets in the red today. I'm not going to focus too much on today because by the time a lot of you watch this, it'll be tomorrow. So I try not to do these daily market updates, right? You can look at the markets, but I want you to know the drivers of the economy, what's behind it, what's behind the markets, what to look out for. What I think is actually more important than just focusing on the daily index numbers, right? The Dow Jones, etc. But let's talk about some things that I think are telling here. Let's look at this. We've got House bill passes bill to protect against HOA, that's homeowner association foreclosures, right? Interesting timing. So does the House see something coming, maybe something big in the housing market in the next few months? Otherwise, why would they be passing this bill now to prevent HOA foreclosures? By the way, HOA foreclosures have been a very big problem for a long time. I've read stories of people getting their home, a lien put on their home for not cutting down shrubs, for not doing certain things that the HOA wants, like even repainting their home. My sister recently had that problem where they forced her basically to repaint her home, and she got a bunch of different quotes. The lowest quote she got was about $3,500 here in Southern California, and it was at a time where she really didn't want to spend that extra money, but she had to because the HOA is basically the law. You can fight against them. You can take them to court. It costs a lot of time and money, though, to kind of fight against the HOA. But interesting that they're passing a bill now to prevent HOA foreclosures. It comes at a time where foreclosures are increasing. But again, the question is, what do they see on the horizon? What's the timing? Why is there the timing of this? Why is it happening right now? Pretty interesting. And this as well. Look at the timing on this one here. What are they doing over in Massachusetts? Well, it looks like they might be something, they might see something big on the horizon, taking on the housing crisis in Massachusetts. First of all, there is no housing crisis when it comes to foreclosures yet. There is an affordability crisis, but is preventing foreclosures going to help affordability? No, it's not. It's going to make it worse. Um, Massachusetts could include foreclosure prevention program, right? So again, why would they want to do that? And do they see something on the horizon coming? Real quick here from this article, we need more affordable housing, is what it says here. This is something I hear over and over as state representatives throughout my district. Speaking with a group of high school students from my district recently, asked about their top priority. They said it is housing, the cost of housing. Is preventing foreclosures going to bring the prices down? No, it's going to keep prices higher for longer because if you prevent foreclosures, just look at 2020, case example, 2021, they had the foreclosure prevention program, the moratoriums, and what happened? We saw home prices skyrocket because of that. Not just that, but that was a big factor. When you can't lose your home, that prevents new inventory from coming onto the market. Right now, here's the problem: nobody wants to see someone lose their primary home. Nobody wants to see a family. Nobody that I know anyway wants to see a family on the street after getting foreclosed. The problem comes when you have investors gobbling up dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of homes. But then again, most big investors do not have to worry about getting foreclosed unless we see a huge market downturn, which would be a housing bubble bust similar to 2008, 9, and 10. Then we saw, even at that time, we saw for investors lose their homes, right? So it would take something big for that to happen this time. It would take, again, a cutoff in the credit. Banks would have to stop loaning out, start giving out loans, stop giving out credit and mortgages. So that's the name of the game is keep the money flowing, keep people buying these assets. The current administration announces an intent to add 500,000 starter homes to Americans' housing inventory. The problem is we've got such a big population influx coming into the United States. This 500,000 homes will be gobbled up and occupied within probably 6 months, right? So we've got too many people, not enough homes. This is not going to fix the problem. There's 500,000 starter homes to boost the inventory, right? So many problems right underneath the surface, folks, that need to get resolved before any of this affordability issue gets even close to being fixed, right? So most of you know this, but it is important, I think, to be on top of this news here. Some more recent news here. What's happening at Costco and what's happening with gold? Well, Costco's selling up to $200 million in gold bars each month. Sales of Costco gold bars are now limited to 5 per customer, while executive members receive 2% cash back. Right, so people are jumping into gold. People see what's going on. They see the money creation, the money printing going on. $200 million gold bars every month, and this is still happening at a time when gold is 2,000 plus. per ounce. I still buy a lot more silver than I do gold because I think that's more undervalued. But to each his own. These people are gobbling up these gold bars at Costco. That's a telling sign, I think. As I'm recording this, though, gold doing pretty well. We've got gold right now coming in at 2,372, so approaching 2,400. We've got silver 28.31. We're going to be hitting $30 very, very soon, unless we see more massive manipulation and price suppression, which is what's been happening for decades. The price is being suppressed artificially on the paper market with derivatives and contracts, while central banks gobble up the real physical stuff at the suppressed prices. You see how this works? So at some point, when the price becomes detached from the manipulation, when real inflation is factored into these assets, I think we're going to see $100 plus silver, possibly 200. I know I've been saying that for a while. It's one of the few things that I've been talking about that hasn't come true yet, but look at everything else that came true that we've been talking about here, just about everything, right? So I think most of you agree. Please give us a like if you like what we talk about here in this channel. Come back for more updates. What do you think about today's report with the prevention programs coming out for HOA foreclosures, Massachusetts with the new home foreclosure prevention program being discussed? The question is why? What's on the horizon that makes these things come out at this time? Also, CPI inflation data coming out tomorrow. What do you see? I see about 3.3, 3.4%. Let me know what you think down in comments, and we'll see how close we are in the next report. Come back to this for more updates on the economy to stay on top of the economic news and on ahead of the financial curve. Everybody keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.